Hi there, it's Adam bringing you another video to the channel. We are continuing the 21-22 UK Model Airport Series in 1/400 scale. Nothing really to start off with, so I'm going to get straight into the update. Start off on the far side with the EasyJet A321. So EasyJet A321 Neo, having arrived from Nice as U28354, we'll be heading out to Rome as U28257, registration Golf Uniform Zulu Mike Charlie. Then on pushback, just before that, we have the Air France Hop E190, registration Foxtrot Hotel Bravo Lima Romeo, heading back out to Paris as AF1159. Then next up we have, I believe, making a sort of debut on these updates. We have the Turkish Airlines 737 MAX 9, registration Tango Charlie Lima Yankee Bravo, doing the run as TK1346, on the outbound back out to Istanbul. Not far off departure. Again, I'm not overly, well, probably like in the real world really, not many 789s or 7 MAX 9s compared to 7378s or 73 MAX 8s. So yeah, not really too familiar to have 73 MAX 9s in my collection, but I think kind of spurred on if models are a little bit limited in other aspects, and the sort of focus on the Costa Rica kind of project I want to do. Copa Airlines do have 73 MAX 9s as well, so I may even be, you know, there might be a few more to add to my collection in the future, but yeah, if I personally had a choice, I do prefer the standard sort of 737-800 or 737 MAX 8 rather than the 9 or 900 versions. In the foreground, in the nearest stand to us, having just arrived, we have this Air Europa 7878 Dreamliner arriving from Madrid. This is the second leg of the day, so we previously saw this in another update in the morning. Operating as UX1015, registration Echo Charlie Mike India Golf. On the far side, we have this TUI 737-800 with the split scimitar winglets, registration Golf Foxtrot Delta Zulu Sierra. Heading out on the departure side, heading out to Faro as Bravo Yankee 3414 or BY 3414. Next up we have this Virgin Atlantic 789. So this didn't feature in the last update, but did feature in the update before. So with the traffic in the last update, I decided to sort of have this pushback and sort of be towed to a remote stand. So when it arrived, it was on the sort of far side, sort of closest to the background stand when it arrived. Again, based on the movements, based on the traffic occupying gates, that's repositioned. Now it's come back from the remote stand. We've now positioned it on this stand. I kind of thought, in a logical sense, if the aircraft is taxiing out, it would probably use less fuel on the taxi run. So I kind of thought, you know, with the nearest stand being occupied, in a sense, that would make more sense. I'm guessing things like that are considered, but even if they're not in real world, it's something that I considered, and I thought, yeah, I'd do that. Makes more sense rather than use the stand it did on arrival. Registration Golf Victor November Echo Whiskey, heading out to Los Angeles. Again, not far off departure time as VS23. Again, Virgin Atlantic 7879 Dreamliner. Pushing back, we have the Western Global 747-400 freighter, registration November 344 Kilo Delta, doing the outbound run to Liège, having previously arrived from Cairo as AJK 2603, and then sitting sort of patiently, I guess, given the long turnaround time. We have the one of the regular DHL 757-200 passenger converted freighter, registration Golf Delta Hotel Kilo Oscar, having arrived from Leipzig and heading out to Amsterdam a little bit later on towards the evening. We'll focus on that. So yeah, that is it for today's update. Not a massive update. The next update does cut a few movements out just because of the timing. So there is in today's schedule, in the context of the schedules for the day, around about 5 o'clock, there would be a FedEx MD-11 due. Now at the minute I've still only got one FedEx MD-11. I am ultimately looking, like I've said before previously, to acquire models that I can sort of rotate with where possible if they've been made, or multiple units have been made, different registrations in 1/400 scale, or any other scale that is as well, if I want to get those. But yeah, on the basis of the schedules for this day, there's not a lot going around about that time, so there's not really much point in including that. And given the sequence of sort of movements in this one, especially with the Western Global pushing back, I didn't really want to bring it in early either to accommodate for this update. So yeah, just a bit of background information there. There might be one or two other movements that might have been a little bit cut out. I think next update focuses towards 9 o'clock, so there's a bit of a jump from the timing that we're doing here, about 4:30 in the evening or afternoon, and then jumping towards 9 o'clock. The final update, which is around about 11:30, is not that significant of an update, but again, it just kind of concludes the day going into the next day with some of the movements, certainly some of the based aircraft coming back, things like that. So only 2 more updates on the Thursday schedules. But again, obviously Friday going into the weekend, there's certainly movements we haven't seen before, so I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. And yeah, hopefully, I'll admit, yeah, I'll be honest, when I'm doing those updates, I appreciate that not every update will be as good as the next one or the previous one. It's just the flow of the traffic, and I understand that maybe a lot of people that do airport updates probably do a complete rotation of aircraft in their updates, whereas me doing this sequence, it's like a follow-on from each update. So obviously a lot of the traffic here has rotated. Obviously DHL Western Global featured last update, and things like that, and that's what I mean. It's that continuation through the day, sequence of the daily schedules, rather than going from one update to the next, from one day to another, because then it just makes it more complicated to get models out and unboxing them. Probably unboxing them more than you need to as well, and it does help in that sense doing the way I'm doing it. It depends on the project though, because I think if I do the Costa Rica airport project, that will be sort of like a randomised hit and miss, just based on the amount of schedules they have, and basically picking a time, selecting the movements, and then we can go with that, and then rotate obviously the aircraft frames and do it like that. In other context, I've just been advised that my next parcel due is going to include a lot of the recent NG 1200s Jet2 757s. I do have the original 757s they released in 1200 as well, so very much looking forward to that. And again, it emphasises what I've kind of mentioned previously, that 1200 is growing. Like in the certainly European market, the UK market, albeit Jet 2757s are no longer no longer flying, but it's still that concept of, you know what, it's part of an era that I'm familiar with, and the models that NG models are releasing are very much welcome. Not just them, not just NG models, but other things as well, especially in the European market, as I've said. And it emphasises the real need for me to want to do a kind of 1200 airport display. Again, I am very much keen on kind of representing something based on the Manchester Airport Terminal 2 sort of, the aspect nearest to the sort of Terminal 1 side, sort of the car park, basically near the Radisson Blu Hotel, that kind of aspect. To be able to accommodate for wide body and narrow body, the stands are perfect. Again, you can kind of utilise that little one remote stand that's at an angle with various other things. And if you can accommodate for a taxiway, which I'm hoping for as well, you can also have aircraft on a side view, like taxiing in and out, pushing back, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the limitation is cargo, but again, I could even have some of the cargo movements sort of moving in and out as well, taxiing in, taxiing out. But again, cargo is a little bit different concept, and that is something that I might need to look into for an alternative solution going forward. But no, in terms of the passenger side of things, yeah, I think it's a great avenue to explore. Again, these projects are all just in my mind at the minute. I don't know how soon or when they will commence if I do them. Obviously, I can't have everything all at once, so it's really about making my mind up as well, in terms of doing I've got a lot of projects in mind, like 1400. This project is already laid out. There's the idea that I could go back in time and do updates with older models. I could do a kind of similar concept but different in the Australian world. There's a 1400 sort of US project that I still want to do with majority of Southwest Airlines, United and Allegiant and things like that. There's the Costa Rica project in 1400. And then obviously 1200, it's like the UK kind of side of things, like based on Manchester, which also relates to 1200. I've got a lot of 1200 Australian models now, which are New Zealand models as well, which I'd love to do something with. Again, it's not just about doing a display and then utilising all that for the same, because ultimately I do consider the fact that Australian ground markings, for instance, are different to what we have in the UK, and that's where not just that, but obviously maybe terminal designs, concepts, stand layouts, all that kind of stuff are different, and I do want to kind of do that where possible. The biggest thing in 1200 scale is probably looking at getting custom air bridges as well. I feel like the JC wings just aren't going to work for the size and things like that I want to work with. But yeah, custom air bridges is something that I'm probably going to have to look into. But again, it all comes down to cost and expense and all that kind of stuff, and it's got to be maybe like a project over time. But the fact is that I feel like I'm kind of, if I can do it, I'll do it. It might last a short time, might last a long time, because the thing is, like through life, we all go through phases of wanting to do things, and after a while it's like, I need to change. But at the minute, this is very much a project. Like I say, we're still only on Thursday schedules, and we've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday to go through as well. And I don't know what will happen after that. I can't really do much more in here. I keep getting asked if I'm adding like another pier to this layout. I'm not, because I simply can't expand either side, and I don't want to. I don't like doing a project where I've got like a seam in the middle, you know, like two boards, and you can see like the line in between. That's not really me. If I'm going to do a display, I'll try and have it all on one board and do that. But again, you know, we're continuing these updates for now. But I do like to talk about my ideas and future projects, because you know it's a sort of topic that hopefully, you know, can relate to maybe other people as well, and maybe can open up discussions. So you know, if you do want to discuss anything with me, by all means get in touch. You know, I don't just want you to think, oh yeah, you know, you can watch my video, like the video, or dislike the video if you want to, if you feel the need to. You know, it is. I do try and open up an opportunity for a little bit of discussion with you guys as well, because I don't know. You know, really, I think a lot of people either collect one or the other scale. Like, you might collect one 400, you might collect one 200 rather than both. But yeah, if anybody, you know, has any thoughts on what I'm saying and my projects and future idea, or if you've got any ideas for what I could do, what I could consider, what you'd like to see in the future yourselves, you know, all that kind of stuff, then by all means, you know, leave comments in the comment section and below the video. You know what I mean? That's what that's there for. And yeah, we'll just carry on as we are each weekend, as we're doing, and things like that. But yeah, I think the 1-200 concept is probably coming in more as a priority over the Costa Rica concept at the minute. Probably more so because I've got more 1-200 models than I have the models of the 400 scale Costa Rica side. So we'll just go with the times and see where that takes us.